Hello everyone, it's me, that divination witch. I hope you're doing well. I'm back with a witchy video, and this is a more personal one. And it's something, look, I'm not sure if I'm even going to post this, but I feel really drawn to talk about it, and it's my personal experience, and I think it's going to help a few people out there. Might not be for everyone, that's okay. But yeah, let's just get into it. Now, if you're new here, hi, welcome. I'm Sarah, that divination witch. It's a safe space here. You can share, you can ask questions, nothing silly, ask away. And I encourage people to help each other out as well in the comments. Be nice to each other. If you like that, you know what to do. Subscribe. And I've also got a link tree below if you want to support the channel further. I'd be grateful if you could check it out. I've got a shop. I've got Patreon. On Patreon, we're doing the Year of the Dark Goddess, and it's all about stepping into our unbridled power and being the best versions of ourselves that we can be. So, you know, if you want to join in, you know what to do. This is very personal, and I've briefly shared on the channel some things to do with this, but not in this great of depth. But I'm sharing it for those out there who are younger than me. I'm sitting here at 35. Bloody hell. I'm sharing it for those younger, and those not even just younger, but those who maybe haven't been in a safe space to come to terms with things, or are not able to. Because it depends who you are, where you live in the world, etc., as to how this goes down and how it impacts you. That is sexuality, and how that links in with my spiritual beliefs and my practice and all of this. And I'm not talking about sex magic. It's a valid practice, sex magic. It's got a time and a place. I ain't talking about that. I'm not talking about a Kundalini awakening or any of that. I'm talking about your identity as a person, and who you are and what you identify as, and how trauma can shape it and how your spirituality can shape it as well. Recent changes have been happening in my personal life that I feel I need to get off my chest and share with you guys, and hopefully help some people along the way, which is what this video is about. I am 35 and I still have questions about my identity, my everything. One thing I will take away from this is that you never stop learning, not just about yourself and others, but like everything, basically. You just never stop learning. Now, I have been full-time practicing since 2018. Before 2018, when I was like 14, is when I first found witchcraft. And it was mainly Wicca at the time, and then I kind of fell out with it. Just didn't bother. I was always kind of agnostic. I had other things going on, Life just wasn't aligned for me yet. I wasn't meant to find my spiritual path until when I did. Now, I've shared the story before, but my spiritual path and trigger warnings throughout this video, it started when I was in a very dark place in 2018. My grandma had recently passed. I had a huge falling out in the family, and I didn't want to be here anymore. That's all I'll say it like. And Hecate found me. I didn't even know who the hell she was, if I'm quite honest with you. And I have gone through so much in my awakening. And you can ask any other spiritual person on the planet, no matter what their path is and their beliefs, they will tell you once you're spiritual, once your mind's opened, once you have started the journey, you can't stop. And it is like that, very much like that. People call things dark night of the soul, and, it is a common theme that we're tested over and over, and we have painful things happen to us. That at the time feel very bloody painful and very raw, and you don't know why it's happening, but later down the line you realise it's to get you stronger, and it's because these people, these situations no longer resonated with you, because in the universe the energy you put out is what you get back. like attracts like. Law of attraction is a thing, whether you want to believe it or not, it is. I know there's a lot of new age misconceptions around it, but it is a thing. It is. So for me, back in 2018, I was in a job. I've said this before on the channel. I was in a job I'd been in for bloody decades, and I never thought I'd leave, and I was just going through the motions sort of thing. I was kind of numbing the pain, I suppose, like a lot of us do, through consumerism. You live for the weekend, that kind of vibe. You might go on a nice holiday or whatever, that mundane sort of stuff. Never ever thought I'd leave because of the money. It was good money, and like all of us, we need money to live. You don't want to turn down a secure job, especially in this economy. And now look at me, I'm doing this full time. I took so many risks. I lost that job. Well, I left that job. It lost me. And then I went from job to job to job to make ends meet. And then, boom, I'm here. Because in the end, I saw my worth. And I saw that, no, I meant for greater things. And there's nothing wrong with that. On a personal level, I also went through transformations. I lost friendships that I'd had from being a child. And I felt terrible at the time. Looking back, those people didn't resonate with me anymore. And you know what? Whatever. I've mentioned them on the channel before, vaguely. It hurt my feelings a lot at the time. I won't go mega in depth. But they're gone for a reason. Because if they resonated, they would have stuck around. They would have been here regardless. They just didn't resonate anymore. Whatever. My friends at the time, we were all part of the LGBT community. So how do I explain this? This is so personal, but I feel I have to say it. Growing up, right, we'll start here. Growing up, I always knew that I liked women in a romantic fashion. Let's put it like that. And I had, childhood crushes and celebrity crushes, things like that. And I always knew I did like them. And then when I was like 15, 16, I came out to my mother. And no offense, mother, if you're watching this, we still talk. But she wasn't the most receptive of it. And I got backlash. And she didn't like it. Now, around that time, as a teenager, and it was a different time then, it feels like it was yesterday, but it wasn't. I went through a big, heavy trauma. I got involved with an older man, let's say it like that, who, you can read between the lines, very traumatic. And so that scarred me. That's a big trauma I've held on to for years. This is why, it's an answer for a lot of things in my life. I know this now. But before this happened, I already knew, because being gay is not a choice, okay? Let me put that out there. It is not a choice. And I used to say this, do you think if it was a choice that I'd choose the hard thing? You know what I mean? Like, it is not a choice. You cannot force yourself to be something you are not. You just can't. I see sexuality, to be honest, as a spectrum. Very much so. I've known straight men do things. I've known straight women do things, Not everyone, it's a spectrum. Now, going back to that, I always knew who I was, and from being a kid, I always knew it. I felt like it was a dirty secret. And also, what is it, right? Us women of this generation, my go-to man crush, who wasn't really a crush actually, it was just me pretendy one, was Orlando Bloom. And at that time, Lord of the Rings, he was the most womanliest man. Like, I think that's a common trend, isn't it? Oh yes, I love Legolas. What? Anyways, right, that was me little joke there. I've noticed that as a thing though. Anyways, but I lost trust in men in that capacity. And I stopped seeing men in that way for a while. It's not that I didn't appreciate men could be attractive and whatever. It's more that I just couldn't. I just couldn't face it after what had happened to me. And so, after that, from being a teenager, right up until my mid to late 20s, I said I was a lesbian. I said I was gay. And I hold my hands up. In LGBT communities, there's a lot of internalized homophobia, biphobia, and especially, well, to be honest, it's with gay men as well, because I had gay men friends who were just as bad. But lesbians have this insecurity, not all of them, but the ones I met, about being with a woman who's bisexual and all, you know. See, I used to get lesbians saying, you're either gay or you're straight, and that's it. And I had friends at the time that were saying that to me. So it was like a reversed homophobia, in a way, reversed pressure of, oh, well, I've got to just be gay. And so for years and years and years, that was me. Gay, lesbian, loved ladies. And I still do, spoiler. And then I reverse came out when I was like 26, 27. I reverse came out and I was shitting myself because some of the friends I had at the time saying things like that, saying, look guys, I'm bisexual, because I'd met a man. I had a boyfriend at that time, and even then I knew, even though I loved him and whatever, and it didn't end well, you know, he was being unfaithful. But that can happen. Doesn't matter what your gender is, that can happen. But I just kind of knew I liked both and whatever. And yeah, okay, that ended. After that, I dated a few people, both genders. And then I went through my spiritual awakening. And to be honest, I've been single ever since, by choice, to be honest, because I feel like I've had a lot going on with me. And I didn't know how to put it into words, and that's what I'm doing right now. Hecate has been healing my inner child this whole time. So for almost 7 years now, healing my inner child. Meaning for the longest time, I'm being vulnerable with you guys, I have not been interested in anybody, in male, female, or in between. Love yous, but not like that. You know, I've had no drivers for anything like that. I'm not a prude, but I felt like, this has been raw and vulnerable, I felt like I wasn't fucking human, to be honest. I felt subhuman. I felt like, well, I'm just an amoeba. I'm just going to reproduce with myself. I didn't even feel like doing that. You know what I mean? I just felt like numb. It was weird. And it's only after I've realised, coming to terms, and this has just happened the end of this year, that I've come to terms with, oh shit, that's what's happened. A child doesn't want that. Like a child doesn't want anything like that. I've been in my inner child energy for so long, being healed by Hecate, and now I'm not. And it's like, oh, like, I have cute tattoos and shit that I'll always have this Hamtaro is always going to be on my arm now. I've got Disney, I've got bloomin' Eevee, you know. Oh, I don't regret them, but I got them when I've been in my inner child energy, you know, and I've got a lot like that. And now I'm coming to terms with, I'm a grown up. And I'm having all these feelings again. And it's been bloody weird, guys. And I have to share it that this can happen. You know, so it's not so much coming to terms with, I'm gay, I'm straight, I'm whatever. I mean, that's part of it. But if you're going through healing, sometimes you will go through stages like this, and now I feel the inner child work stopped, and I'm on to some other traumas from later in life, and it is sexual traumas. To be quite honest, it is what I've described, being groomed and all this stuff and going through these sort of things. And now I'm like opening up again, and I'm coming to terms with my queerness again, that I'm a bisexual lady and I like ladies. Like I've had, feelings again, and I'm like, how do you process this? I feel like I'm going through puberty at 35. It is strange, guys, and I just had to share it because somebody else might be going through this, and that's what this channel's all about. That even though this is so fucking vulnerable, and I'm like embarrassed to tell you all, it's how it is. That I'm gone through this, and you never fully know everything that's going on. Even I could be 55 and going through a different kind of healing, You think you know it all and then you don't. So what I'm trying to say is, if you are questioning anything at all to do with your sexuality, that's personal, right? Just like spirituality is personal to me. You cannot help who you're attracted to, gender-wise. And that can evolve and change over time. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a spectrum. And if you are pagan or spiritual, you don't have to subscribe to set beliefs of, a man must do this, a woman must do that. No, bullshit, because we've all got both in us. And if some days you are feeling more masculine presenting, some days you're feeling more feminine presenting, some days you're like, I'm feeling very in my feelings. Some days you might feel like nothing. That's okay. Just go with the flow is what I'm trying to say. A lot of us hold traumas, especially those kinds of traumas. Sadly, a lot of us have been through stuff that's fucked us up, basically. I don't know how else to put it, putting it very bluntly there. And we aren't in a toxic religion that's going to tell us we're going to hell because we love another woman or another man. That's bullshit. Even the gods did things with other gods of the same gender. But even the gods shapeshift. Like, they shapeshift into not just the other sex, but into other beings altogether. Look at Loki. Look at Loki, ultimate shapeshifter. He loves being a woman sometimes. He loves being a horse as well. And a female horse at that. We don't have to subscribe to this, worry about being normal, about being accepted, because we're already on the fringe, you could say. Although we're more mainstream than religion at the minute. It seems to be we're getting that way. Still, I just wanted to share the story and hopefully help some people out there. If you've ever been through traumas, if like of that nature, if you're healing them, look, it's okay. It's okay. You'll get there, and you might not understand for a while. You might need to be in hermit mode, recluse, and then you might not be. I don't know how else to put it, but I just felt like I had to share it and get it off my chest because I've been going through this as well. I'm like, oh my God. And we're all, going through paths when we're spiritual. So what I mean by this is, especially on the occult and the left-hand path, it's dominated by the Cliffoth and the Sephiroth. And what they are, if you don't know, is a pathworking you go through. So it's laid out like a roadmap, and it's a certain thing. So you climb the tree of life, and you've got to go through certain trials to help you become stronger. It's like shadow work to the extreme. That's putting it in a nutshell. It's Kabbalah. There's other path workings out there like that. There's some that are more modern people have created, some ancient, whether you are on a roadmap that is laid out. So if, my best friend is going through the cliff off right now, she's been on the channel, and I feel like when we have our conversations, sometimes I'm like, well, you can point out where you are on a map in a way. So you kind of have an understanding of, well, I'm doing this thing, so I should be dealing with these sort of traumas or this sort of issue, this sort of energy. It's all about alchemicalizing it, changing it within inside yourself and coping with it. But we're all doing that anyways, in our own ways. So sometimes it's hard to put it into bloody words. And this is where mental health, spirituality are like this. You can crack up sometimes. I just thought I was going to be a snail. I don't know why I'm thinking of a snail. I just thought I was going to be a snail by myself, Gary the snail. And I'm like, oh, I'm not a snail. I'm a butterfly. I don't know. It's like hard to put it into words. So that's why I share these things. And I put myself out there like a tit, explaining things that are hard to put into words. But hopefully people will get something from this. That's the story. That's the tea. Yeah. If you have any questions, if there is anything you've been through, help each other out. Share it in the comments if you feel comfortable. Yeah. I'm happy to help like that as best as I can. And until next time. I don't know why I'm feeling vulnerable now. I'm like, well, you can subscribe if you're okay with that. Now I'm feeling a bit like, oh, did I really just say all that? But yes, anyways, until next time, don't eat the microphone. But stay safe, stay witchy. Bye.